everyone, I'm Gabby. Welcome to my channel, Frog with a Blog. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I'm so happy that you're here. If you're new here, my goal for this channel is to give my experience traveling with my little ones. That way, hopefully I can give some tips, tricks, and hints at what can make your travels or just your adventures with your family easier for you. So let's get started. If you haven't already, check out my last two videos. Part 1 went over my travels getting to Orlando from DFW, and Part 2 went over our day at Magic Kingdom. Stay tuned, subscribe, click the like button if you like this video.
So, Saturday morning, we had a late day at Magic Kingdom because we did stay up super late. We were there until the fireworks and headed back on the ferry boat and waited what seemed like forever for the bus to come back and pick us up and then drop us back off at the hotel. So it was a pretty late night for us, especially given that we had a late night traveling in, so we didn't really have a lot of time to sleep in. So we slept in on that Saturday night. We didn't have tickets for Hollywood Studios at this point. I don't know how it is at the other hotels in the Disney bubble, but at the Holiday Inn in Disney Springs, they have a channel that pretty much just rotates through this playlist of like things you can do at Disney and all this fun stuff that you can do, whether it's Disney Springs or at the parks or whatever. So I didn't have the channel on anything else other than that because, I mean, it was happy. It was like, hey, this is what you can do. So like, all right, let's just keep it on this channel. So that channel definitely got us out again because I didn't plan on going to another park, but just from looking at it, I was like, that looks so cool. Let's go to Hollywood Studios. So I told my mom, I was like, hey, I think I want to go to Hollywood Studios. You want to go? And she's like, well, sure, we're here. So we woke up and finally we're getting ready at around 10 o'clock or so. So again, we didn't rope drop. We weren't there super early. We just were looking for something to do. So I went online. I bought our tickets on the regular My Disney website and got the tickets and sent my mom her link to her ticket to add it to her account, added it to my account, and downloaded the tickets to my Apple Wallet. So that way they were easy to get to, just like I did for the Magic Kingdom ticket since we didn't have the Magic Bands. And that was pretty easy, seamless. We still had our cards from Magic Kingdom, so we were able to use that actually, so that was really good. I reserved our bus, same like I did for Magic Kingdom. Bus ride was only, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, wasn't anything crazy. We did still have to stop at the other hotels. Once we got to Hollywood Studios, again, he's like, all right, meet us back at this spot where we dropped you off at, and we'll take you back to your hotel whenever you're ready. Just be sure that you reserve your tickets for the ride back. So it's like, okay, cool. And luckily for this one, we didn't have to go through the TTC anymore. Since Hollywood Studios, they pretty much drop you off right at the front. So that was nice. We got to see the Skyliner. And that definitely has influenced my decision on whenever we make our second trip back to Disney World. I definitely want to stay at a Skyliner resort. So again, tune in for that video once we get there. But getting to Hollywood Studios, no problem. Security was no problem at all. Getting in was no problem since we still had the cards, and I did have the tickets downloaded on my Apple Wallet for just in case I needed to get to them quickly, so I don't feel like I held up a line by not having a Magic Band. So that was good. The baby care center for Hollywood Studios was right as soon as you go through the front gate, so that was super nice. So that way I could immediately know, okay, where is it? My mom can get her electric scooter. I can go feed my baby, change her diapers. That way we're starting off, with a clean butt and a full stomach. So I did that. It was interesting because I believe that's where the first aid station is too. So when you walk through the door, it's not like Magic Kingdom's baby care center where you just see baby stuff. It was like, I'm here for the baby care center. And they were like, oh, we just go through that door. So, I mean, that was fine. It was really small. It had a little 2 or 3 changing table area to change your baby's diaper. It had a small sofa in there that you can sit on if you were waiting. It had a vending machine that you can get baby items from. And it had 2 nursing kind of like hideaway areas. They were not big, but it at least had a rocking chair and a small bench in there. So that way, if you had maybe a small child or somebody else with you, again, a small space, but you could at least have them in there with you while you're nursing your baby, or a place to put your bag, which is what I used it for. I did take my stroller in there into the rooms, into the bigger room. There was nobody else in there, but I imagine if there were other families in there, I'd probably be backing up with my stroller, trying to find somewhere to put it, because it's not enough space for multiple strollers in that baby care center. But it was air conditioned. Like I said, I didn't have anybody else in there with me, which was nice. So it worked out for my use. Just like the day prior at Magic Kingdom, while I was nursing her, I was looking at the My Disney app on the map, trying to see, okay, where are we going to go eat lunch? Where has air conditioning? Let's hop around to the air conditioning spots. So we went to the Backlot Express. I got a burger. My mom got a burger. It was typical, I don't know, theme park food. Nothing to write home about, but that was good. We were fighting for chairs and table space there. Since it was so hot, there weren't anybody sitting out on the patio area, so everybody was inside, which is fine. There just weren't any empty tables, and when there would be one, we would like walk to one and somebody else like beat us there, because my mom's in her scooter, I have the car seat or the stroller and food, so it's like, oh gosh. But we finally were able to get a table, ate and left out of there. We did look at the wait times on the My Disney app, and meeting Olaf was right next door. It was a 5-minute wait. So I was like, okay, great. We can do that. So we went to meet Olaf. It was so cute, so adorable. Got tons of pictures. My baby, of course, slept the whole time, which is fine. At least you can see her little feet in the pictures. But it was a good first introduction to Hollywood Studios, I would say, especially since I knew, especially with the TV showing all the things you can do, it did say that Hollywood Studios had a lot of character greet opportunities. So that's what we did. We met Olaf. From there, looking at the next air conditioning space, there was a theater that was playing like old school type Mickey cartoons. I said, hey, air conditioning. I did take her diaper bag in, and in her diaper bag I do keep her headphones. So she had her headphones with her. It was air conditioned. We did have to wait outside, I think maybe 5-10 minutes for the next show to start. So that was fine. We got in, watched the show. It was really loud, so I would say that if you have a small child who maybe is more sensitive to sounds, to take headphones for them. I did for my baby, and it was still pretty loud in there. I did get to feed her, though, during it, so that was nice. And I believe it lasted maybe 10-15 minutes, so it was a good place to relax. Again, we did have full stomach, so it was a good place to relax in the air conditioning. Once we were done with that show, we went to the Muppets 3D Vision, which sadly is going away soon, but we went there because it was the next place with air conditioning, and it was starting to sprinkle outside, although not even 10 minutes prior, it was full sun. So highly recommend taking a waterproof stroller cover, so that way your belongings don't get soaking wet while you're in an attraction or just walking around the park. So went into Muppet Vision. That was a blast. Took our headphones in just because I knew it would probably be a little louder in there. Watched the show. It was in air conditioning, so it was great. Went out of there. Took some pictures with some of the Muppet statues that were around. Went to the restroom. Each time we went to a restroom, we did use the family bathrooms. And they were pretty nice, I would say, especially over there near that Muppet 3D area. It was super clean. Next, we decided to go along the walking path that we saw most natural. So for us, that was going to the Star Wars area. That was fun. I know my husband is a huge Star Wars fan, so I FaceTimed him as I'm pushing a stroller. So I'm sure people were like, what is she doing? I didn't hit anybody. But FaceTimed him so he could see the area. So it was really good, really immersive. I got to stop and look at all the places, take pictures. We saw some stormtroopers, so it was a good time. The lines were really long there, so I didn't plan on going into a ride and waiting to ride something, so that was fine. But if I did want to, wasn't going to because the lines are really long, which is fine. There was a little small show that we watched in that area, and then afterwards the characters are walking around and like interacting with us, so that was nice. My baby was sleeping most of the time, so it was like, that's fine. And she didn't want to be in her car seat, in her stroller, so I did carry her a good bit of Hollywood Studios, which I was fine with because I think at that point in time she only weighed maybe 10 pounds, so wasn't too crazy. After we left there, we went to the Toy Story area, which again, super immersive, really nice to look at, especially for first time visitors. Took some pictures. It was starting to get cloudy, so we knew the rain was going to start anytime, which was fine. We did have the ponchos, but instead of a poncho, since I knew I would probably be carrying her for a good bit of maybe the trip while we're outside, I got some button-up ponchos that were super helpful, so that way she could breathe. So I only buttoned it up to her baby carrier. So that way, obviously, her head is out and a good bit of her is out of the rain jacket. So that way she can get some air. She's not suffocating. It's not too hot in there for her because I was worried about her sweating. I did have fans on her the entire time. So I had them kind of looped on her stroller handlebars. So if she were in her car seat, I would flip them around so that way the fans are facing her. But if I was carrying her, I would flip them the other way so that way the fans are still on her. So the same thing with when it decided to start raining, I had on the rain jacket and the fans were on her. And I was able to actually get a pretty good angle so that way the fans were like going down into the jacket as well. So that way it wasn't just air at her head. It was air all over her body, so that was good. So again, I didn't have to worry about her overheating. The rain did start when we were going through Toy Story, but we were able to stay dry. At that point, the characters that were out were starting to go in, so we didn't get to get any good pictures with them, which is fine. I didn't have any expectations going to Hollywood Studios except for seems like a pretty cool park. Let's go and see what they have. From there, we followed the walking trail, and that led us to the Star Wars launch bay. So that was a pretty cool area, and I guess that's also where the Disney Junior characters were. I didn't see that as obvious. I just saw Star Wars area and that we could go see Chewbacca. So I was like, okay, we'll go here. And they had some pretty cool like posters and a good walkthrough that you could go through. We didn't, just because at that point it was getting pretty late and the line for Chewbacca was just about to close down. So we got in that line, was able to get a picture. That was super nice. Again, she was sleeping, so we didn't really get a lot of good awake pictures with her through some of these attractions and character meets, which is fine. She was 2 months old, so we knew that she was probably going to be sleeping a good bit of the time. Once we got out of there, we decided to head back because it was starting to pick up on the rain. We did stop at a family bathroom so that way I could change her and feed her. So that was good. And then we went through some of the shops just because I knew I wanted some more merchandise to try to fit in my suitcase. So we stopped through some of the shops as we were headed to the exit. Once we got out, went and stood in line for our bus. There wasn't a line because it was raining pretty heavily at that point. We waited about 20 minutes for the bus to come. Again, it was raining hard the entire time, so had I known, I probably would have did a minivan just so that way we could get back without having to wait in the pouring rain. But once we got back to the hotel, it was a pretty good rest of the day, honestly. And that was pretty much it for day 2. Day 3, we didn't want to go to any other parks. Whenever we go back, I do plan to go to all 4 parks because I have the time. So look forward to those videos. Super excited. And I'll go into more of my planning details in the coming videos for that trip. But we only went to the 2 and we decided to do a rest day for our 3rd day. So we stayed back at the hotel. Again, we were at the Holiday Inn at Disney Springs. So they had a pretty decent pool. It wasn't anything crazy big or anything. And luckily it wasn't crowded. So it's pretty much just us there and maybe 4 or 5 other families who were there. So I was able to set up my fan so that way she was cool during that time. It had like a walk-up type beach area, so it wasn't like you just had to get straight into the water. I didn't go too far in, but I went deep enough in so that way her legs could be in the water a little bit and not just her completely outside of the water, but also not completely submerged in the water. Once we got out the pool, I just kind of like laid back in the chair with her, with the fans on her, of course, and she took a nap. She was plenty cool. I was constantly checking the back of her neck, checking her feet, checking everywhere all over her, making sure she's cool, and she was definitely cool the entire time. And just sitting out there was good for me as well, just to get some sun and just be outside of the house doing something different than what I had been doing the past 2 months. So it was definitely a good time. I definitely recommend that, and especially taking a rest day whenever you are going to Disney World, because it is a lot of walking around and it's very hot in the summertime. After the pool, we went back up to the hotel room, took our showers, changed, relaxed. Again, looking at the same channel over and over, it said something about Disney Springs. We just so happened to be at a Disney Springs hotel. So it was like, oh, I guess we could just walk down to Disney Springs. So we decided to do that later that evening. It wasn't that long of a walk, maybe 10-15 minutes, but it wasn't that far of a walk. So we went to Disney Springs. We ate at the Guy Fieri chicken tender restaurant. They were really big, really good. We didn't have to fight for seats, but I think we got lucky because the line got really long after we sat down. It was starting to rain at that point, so we, waterproofed ourselves up. We walked around a little bit more. I did take her into the World of Disney. We did look around in there. It's huge. I didn't get to do my full research before going on the trip, so I didn't realize what a staple it was, but World of Disney was huge, full of everything Disney. I also saw a store that I could get her a character made, so got a cute character drawn of her, and then we walked back to the hotel. And once we were back at the hotel, we honestly just packed our bags up and was ready for our early morning flight out. Our flight was scheduled for that Monday morning, I believe at something super early, like 6 in the morning. So I did pre-schedule an Uber just in case for whatever reason I forgot to schedule it in the morning and somebody wasn't available. So I did pre-schedule the Uber to pick us up from the hotel and take us straight to the airport, which was nice. And they were there right on time. Helped us with our bags, got us to the airport. And I'm glad we got there early because the lines were pretty long for it being 4 or 5 in the morning. So glad we got there early, didn't have any issues with security. As we were walking to our gate, there was a nursing room that was near our gate. It was pretty cool. You kind of like open the door, walk in, and it's like a pod. and there is a bench in there so that way you can sit down. They had some they had some plugs in there, so if you needed to plug something in case you were pumping or needed to charge something, you could while you were nursing. It's not big, so multiple people wouldn't be able to go inside of it, but it was a nifty little pod that you could walk in and nurse your baby, so that was good. It did have signs in there that say, don't change your baby's diaper. This is just for nursing, just to have some privacy, and to kindly go to the restroom if you needed to change your baby's diaper, so that way another nursing mom can come in. So that was a nice touch. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully more places that don't have a designated nursing room can get one of those, because it didn't take up too much space, honestly. And if you have the space, it just seemed like a really nice gesture. From there, we just waited for our plane, got on the plane, just like we did heading to Orlando. So got the luggage checks, left the stroller in the bag, left the car seat in the bag, and at the end of the walkway, and put the labels on, and they were able to get it under the plane. It was super early, and I was a little nervous of my baby waking up and crying and keeping everybody up in case they were trying to go back to sleep, but she slept the entire time this way as well. Before we knew it, we were landing at DFW again. It was a good trip. I obviously know that my baby's not going to remember anything of her going to Disney World when she was 2 months old. I will remember it. Definitely am never going to forget her touching Winnie the Pooh's shirt for the first time. That was so cute. And just taking her around and seeing all the characters, seeing all the iconic places. It was something that I enjoyed, and it definitely helped with my mental well-being. So that was good. So if you are considering going to Disney World with your 2-month-old or new infant, it's manageable. You can definitely do it. You just need to have good help with you. Like I said, I did have my mom with me, and she was super helpful. So that way, if I am getting a little overwhelmed and stressed, she's like, okay, everything's fine. Do we need to go to some air conditioning? What do I need to look up? Do I need to grab the diaper bag real quick? So it was just nice to have an extra set of hands to be there and help me. So if you have somebody who can go along with you that can help, that will definitely be a big help for you. If you are going with other smaller kids, I definitely recommend having somebody with you. So that way it just makes it a little easier when you're walking through the park and there's a lot of people. The heat was something noticeable, but having those rotatable fans definitely helped. I had those on all of the time. I charged them every time I could, just so that way I didn't have to worry about them accidentally dying and needing to be charged. And we're somewhere that's super hot now. I'm extra concerned about the baby and overheating. So I recommend taking fans. I definitely recommend taking a reusable cup or something that you can hold water in, or multiple water bottles if that's what you want to do. If you're taking a stroller, I definitely recommend taking an extra bag that you can put all of the items that are in your stroller in whenever you're getting on and off of the Disney transportation. And just in general, you can have a good time at Disney World without doing the months, years in advance prep work. We went on a whim with 2 days notice, and I did not have time to do a lot of research and planning. So hopefully if you are stressed out about not having a lot of time, or you didn't do a lot of research, just know that you can have a good time. Just set your expectations low. That's what I did. I had just the expectation to go to Magic Kingdom, see the castle, get some food, take some pictures. So we were pretty open. So hopefully you can have a good time if you're going with your family. That's about it for my video. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. Comment below if you want to see or if you have different tips and tricks for me on my next Walt Disney World trip later this year. We are planning to go back with our almost 1-year-old, so I can't wait to see what you guys come up with, and I can't wait to have you guys join along with us. Thank you so much for watching. See y'all next time. Bye.